Hey, so this is Wild Women with Wine Part 2 because we got cut off and we got to finish this conversation. So come back in and let's finish this conversation. We were in a deep debate about female genital surgery and whether it's okay, it's easy, it's like cutting off a mole, how its actual function is. And as a nurse and health educator, I can tell you a little bit more. All right, so Karen's coming back. All right, is Karen here?
Nothing like good old Instagram cuts us right off in the middle of a heated discussion.
That was like coitus interruptus.
That was like a premature ejaculation. I don't know what that was.
Seriously. I mean, so let's give a few minutes for our people to come back in for the rest of this debate.
Yeah, I just lost contact, but I think all vaginas are beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. I know. It's like
we do too.
We reunited here. No, I think it's an important platform that you and I have to really
Right.
discuss this in full breadth, because
Yeah.
a lot of women are equating vaginal rejuvenation, which is surgery.
Oh, that's another different thing too. That's done with lasers and things like that.
Right, but they're putting labiaplasty underneath that same umbrella falsely.
No,
okay?
we know that is definitely not the case.
No. But a lot of women are seeking this because someone's telling them it's like having a mole removed. It's like having a skin tag removed. It's like it's less invasive.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I have not heard that. I've only experienced one. I've interviewed a doctor who I trust, who I do believe was ethical in choosing to do surgery to,
Right.
For example, with the teenage girl who was on like some sort of cheerleading team, and she said like literally she had so much excess vaginal tissue that it was like hard for her to wear underwear.
But that's going to be like 1 in a million women.
Right. So,
right.
And then I have a friend of mine who also said that she was literally like, it was difficult having sex because she had to tuck it in every time she'd have sex. I mean, this is what she said. I just believe that we should not try to hold porn or any of these other societal shit is the role models.
Right.
You know, we should allow ourselves to at least have one part of our body that is just beautiful no matter how it looks.
Yes. It's unique. It's like a fingerprint, right? It's our unique part of our body. So I have a friend who went in to have her breasts redone, and the doctor upsold her.
On the vaginoplasty?
To have have a labiaplasty.
That's terrible.
Upsold her. So that's the kind of shit that's going on in the plastic surgeons' offices. Yeah. And I had an OBGYN try to do that to me. I went in for hormone consult, and she tried to upsell me on vaginal rejuvenation. Now, mind you, I have no problem with my vagina. I have no problem with my sexuality.
But she spent a lot of money on those machines.
She had brochures all over her fucking office.
Right.
She tried to upsell me. She spent 45 minutes telling me the reasons that this would be good for me. Meanwhile, I didn't come in with any complaint that would have elicited that sales job. I was
Nancy,
pissed.
Just like having bad sex on a first date, don't go back to the guy.
Oh, I would never go back to her. Her.
I heard you say that.
And my husband was sitting in the room with me. And his jaw was like that. He was impressed that I held my tongue.
I'm impressed. I mean, I would not be able to, because especially if you're not asking for it.
I was in a vulnerable position, and I was scared because of something that was happening with me. So I was actually kind of stunned that this was happening. And it gave me, I actually consciously let her talk because I wanted to know what she would be telling other women.
Other people, yeah.
Yeah. And I can tell you that physicians are being squeezed so bad on the insurance side of things that they're pushing their practices to the cash side of things because there's no regulation. There's no modification. There's no oversight, and they can charge what the hell they want to pay, that they want to charge, and it's hurting the most vulnerable, which is women and people of color, people of that are poor. You know, so but these things, the women's stuff just makes me crazy. Absolutely makes me crazy. Because I see the clients, they come to me because they can't have orgasms anymore. Because they have pain anytime somebody touches them because of the scar tissue. It's like the G-spot enhancement, where they blindly take a needle this long and stick it in your vagina and shoot blindly into the upper wall of the vagina with hyaluronic acid to plump the G-spot, which if you just turned her on, her G-spot plumps naturally.
Yeah.
Because that's the underside of the clitoral body, right? So these things that are being done I feel are so unethical and really malpractice. And I'm in healthcare and my husband's a physician. So it's not like I'm naive to the medical world at all.
No.
Right. So that's my spiel.
No, I'm glad you got that off your chest, and I'm glad that we reconvened to finish the discussion, because it was kind of like, whoop, we're done.
Whoop, I know.
Instagram said, enough with the vaginas. It's time to talk penis. Too much time on the vaginas.
Don't cut penises off.
and unfortunately, like some people on my YouTube were saying, well, it's the same kind of thing with getting your foreskin removed.
I agree. And I am not a fan of circumcision at all, because the data and the research about men's sexual pleasure with circumcised versus not, and conception, you know, difficulties with conception, because you think about the foreskin, when a man's penis goes in, are you frozen, or are you just so enthralled with what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm listening to what you're saying.
Okay. So if you think about an uncircumcised penis, when it goes in, the skin comes back. And when it pulls out, the skin goes forward. Okay? That's that.
So it helps maintain the sperm in the vagina.
Yes. So people
Which
that
is
are
kind of like a good thing and a bad thing. If you're trying to get pregnant, it's good. If you're trying to not get pregnant, it's not such a great thing.
But the whole purpose for penis vagina sex is procreation. That's for orgasm, it's not totally necessary, right?
Right.
But it is necessary for procreation. So we take the very thing away that's going to aid in procreation. So that's part of it. And then they're saying that taking the foreskin off, which would protect the head sensitivity because of when it's not hard, then it definitely has a I'm distracted by somebody that just joined us. So when it's not hard, it's protected, right? So then when it's hard, it's exposed, just like the clitoris, and it's more sensitive. So that pleasure and orgasm tend to be easier in those cases, or more pleasurable. So we have to look at the reasons that we do these things. Most of those things have been based on religion.
Yeah. I mean, in my case, for sure.
Right. And cultural beliefs around, I mean, look at the female circumcisions that are done around the world.
I don't even want to talk about that. That's really upsetting.
But we're doing it here with rejuvenation. We just renamed it.
I think removing an entire clit is not the same as taking off the foreskin. That's a little different.
But we just renamed it, right?
No, it's different.
It isn't. When we're cutting off the hood and we're destroying the nerves of the clitoris, it's not different than taking off the head of the clitoris. They're not taking off the whole body of the clitoris, but they're still destroying the nerve innervation of the clitoris.
Right, but it's the opposite. When you take off a foreskin, you're even more sensitive. It's different. You're not removing any kind of pleasure. Well,
but they don't know that with the hood, because the foreskin, just like the hood of the clitoris, the dorsal nerves come over through that foreskin.
Oh, well,
Through the hood.
I'll still keep my clit intact.
Yes, exactly. I think penises and clitorises should be left like they were made. That's what they were intended, right? You know, it's like we don't come with spare parts. It's like what, you know, it's like we somehow our medical community got to thinking, look, this spare part on this person. We don't come with spare parts. We have 2 kidneys for a reason. We have 2 eyes. You know,
there's a lot of things that we do to our bodies over the years and throughout history that there's no explanation, but we've done them.
Yeah.
I mean,
so the vulva lady says, yes, leave penises alone. I'm so with you. Foreskin is magical. You know, I mean, it's like all of these parts have such beautiful sensitivity and pleasure sensation.
What I love is I saw the other day 2 women walked in and they had butt implants to the point where it looked like so distorted.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would you do this to yourself? You can't, you know, when you get butt implants, you can't even sit for like weeks.
Well, I have to wonder about the doctors doing these things. You know,
well, they're plastic surgeons. They're there to make money.
Right, but when I was going through nursing school, we had some plastic surgeons that I worked with that were phenomenal. They did cleft palates. They reconstructed burns. I know people that were maimed from war. They do magical things. That they were artists, truly artists, to bring people back to what they originally looked like. Then somewhere along the way, we got into this enhancement thing or change your appearance to look like somebody else concept. That I think took us down a different path.
I mean, I'm not as extreme as you. You know, I'm all for if someone really doesn't love their nose, they want to get a nose job, go get it. I have no problem with that. If someone doesn't like their boobs and they want to get a boob job, if that's how they're going to, go get it. I'm not judging them.
I'm not judging. I don't judge
agree,
the people that choose it.
Right. I agree, though. You don't want to be with a doctor that pushes it.
Right. But
you certainly don't want to be with a doctor that's going to do something that's going to actually damage your sensitivity and your.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I've always had small breasts, and so my whole life I've been teased.
They don't look so small to me.
Well, they're a little bigger these days. You know. There's certain time in life when things get a little bigger, but I always had small boobs that people call me the chairman of the itty bitty titty committee, right?
Oh, I was the pirate's treasure, a pirate's dream, a sunken treasure.
Right. So there's been many times in my life I've thought I would like a boob job, and then I thought, oh, you know, I'm not a big fan of going under anesthesia. And so I would think, okay, why do I want it? What will it do for me? How will it change the quality of my life? How will it change how loved I feel? How will it change my sexual sensitivity? What's prompting me to want that? You know, what's behind that for me? Mm-hmm. And it always came down to somebody else's idea of beauty, not my own.
So you never did anything.
Something else telling me that I wasn't good enough as I am. And then I'd get pissed. You know, it's like, who the fuck are they to tell me I'm not good enough when this was the design I came in with? And if you don't like it, fuck off. I mean, honest to God, it's like, why would I change something so fundamental about my body to please someone else when what they think of me is really none of my business?
No, it's always got to be if it's important to you. It can't be someone else.
If I look in the mirror every day and I think, oh God, you look like shit. You know, well, first of all, I'm going to go talk to somebody about why I think I look like shit. But if every day people are, I think there's just so much input, media telling us we're not good enough because they want to sell us something. You know, like the plastic surgeon, I'm sorry, but that plastic surgeon you interviewed, he wanted to sell women something. They're making
You know, it's, I
on
believe it's
women's
still on,
insecurity.
it's still on YouTube. Check it out.
I will.
I talked to him. I asked him all the questions that we've talked about. And I think he answered them in a very respectful manner that it was thoughtful, and he's very smart. I don't think he was going out there just to try to make money off of women. I really think there was some part of him that thought, this is what I'm going to do, something that's going to make these people feel better. So whatever their reasoning or whatever is their reasoning.
I would have more respect for a surgeon who had a psychologist working in their office with them, that spent some time, or a coach spend some time working with these clients.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he didn't. I'm not sure that he,
right.
That,
so
he might have also, you know, done that kind of thing too. And he might have himself talked extensively to his patients.
I mean, I have seen some women that have had children that their breasts are just really, I had a friend that said she felt like she had 2 old socks with a rock in the bottom of them, you know? And so she had implants put in, and she felt like she was herself again. So
that's what I'm saying. So I don't
that
feel
to me
like
is different than selling these things to an 18-year-old. The average age of women getting labiaplasty is between 15 and 18.
Oh God.
It was probably about 5 years ago. The #1 high school graduation gift was breast implants.
And I would believe.
So,
and it's so weird, because literally I went from being so flat chested when I was 15, 16 to double D's in like a year. And I was humiliated by the whole thing, you know, because then in our day, Twiggy was the model. Right. Yeah. I'm always like 2 decades later than I should be. I had a big butt, and I thought it was terrible because Twiggy was the model, and now big butts are in, and my butt's gone. I can't win.
I have one of my second granddaughter's just got this curvy body, and she's just like rocking it.
Yeah, she's rocking it. Well, when we were growing up, a curvy body was like, you're fat.
Right.
Know?
Right.
And not a
and
PHAT.
now fat's PHAT. You know.
Like, yeah. Now they don't mean PHAT. They mean just they were fat.
Right. I was just skinny. They called me Spokes.
Spokes is good too. I wish I was skinny all the. I was not Twiggy at all. I was curvaceous and embarrassed about it, which is like kind of sad. But oh well.
Anyway, but thanks for the opportunity to finish that thought.
I know it was quite as interrupt as I never want to do that to you.
Right. I would like just to leave people with this. If women and men really feel like their life is going to be enhanced by whatever they choose to do, go for it. But I would just ask that they pause and really look at the root of what's driving that. Is it external or is it internal?
Right. And if it's external, don't do it. If it's internal, that's your choice.
And
I think we're on the same page about
and
that.
Then make sure that you yourself research every possible side effect or consequence.
Right, because they don't tell you a lot of even boob jobs. You can lose your sensitivity to your nipples.
Right.
You can lose,
that's the other reason I wouldn't get my boobs done, because unless they went through my belly button, and that didn't sound like a great idea to me, but because I can have nipple orgasms, and so I was scared to death that if they
don't want to lose your nipple.
Oh God, don't cut that off. So yeah, so I'll stick with what I got and enjoy it. And really, my breasts are for me, right?
Every part of your body is for you, Nance. I wouldn't come near it, taking anything away from you.
I love you.
All right, girl.
Thanks for putting up with me. This is an area I'm a little passionate about, in case you couldn't tell. With 3 daughters and 4 granddaughters, I run retreats for empowering women. I am ferocious about really making sure women are fully informed and own their choices, embrace it, but make sure you're fully informed, because you cannot rely on your doctor to fully inform you. I can guarantee you that.
I would agree. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.